All right, I want to give an O-ring update to the P-17. All the O-rings you see up on here, the metric and the SAE standard, are all inside this gun now. So I'm using this as an experiment. The O-rings are fine from the factory. So let's go ahead and take a close look at those. All right, let's bring them in there. Don't need the zoom, just bring it up to you. Okay, so here's the thing. 2 of them are metric, 2 of them are SAE standard. And where it gets tricky is these 2 here. Here, let me point that out to you. Those 2, there and there, are actually both 008. One's metric, one is SAE. But they're both 008, but different. 2 metric, 2 standards. And so these have all been changed out. Okay, so one thing I did want to comment, as far as making a video actually getting into the sear assembly, well, the trigger assembly and also the valve, that surprisingly took a lot of work. I want to wait and get more reps where I try to actually do a video on that. I can see why no other channel has done a video on that. It's daunting to film that, and it's going to take some time for me to figure out how to do that so that everybody can follow that and have a great degree of success. The 880 has not been a problem. The Red Rider has been more of a problem. More people struggle with that. I didn't think it would be that way. This in here, between the valve assembly and the trigger assembly, and then one thing I discovered, you want to take a look at this, there's spines right here. So if we look at those spines, there's 3 individual ones with the 1 pin going through them. And they're just part of the engineering. They lock in your valve assembly, and that was a little added headache that I didn't know I was going to deal with. So 3 metal spines in those slits connected by a pin, and they lock in your valve assembly, which needs to we need to get to so you can replace all 4 of those. Okay, so am I going to throw these out? No, these are still good. These are OEM nitro, and the up here, the Storehouse that you see have turned out to be a perfect fit. They're nearly identical. As I've said in my second follow-up video on the P-17, is that these are to the P-17 what the Dankos are to the 880 and to that Daisy rifles like the Grizzly and 1910. These are nearly identical. The sizes fit really well. So that's one thing I did want to state. It's going to be a while till at least I'm going to put out any type of video dealing with the trigger disassembly and getting into the valve. That is going to be tricky, but I did give good links, so I try to be helpful. Even if it means obviously sending us another direction, it's fine, because there's, it's about trying to help out here. So also, now that I've gotten practical experience, I would say these pellets, these pointed pellets, the 880 users really like them. I really think they're best in this gun, so I've been pretty happy with the Chinese Beeman here. And so when I say Chinese Beeman, I'm talking about the fact that there's a German Beeman, and a lot of young shooters do not understand that. So there is Chinese Beeman, and then the German version. So these are the Chinese Beeman pellets, and I would tell you they're great out of the 880 up to 15 yards. They compete with the very best pellets, and the ballistics are good. The way they hit is well, impressive. And they work well out of this. For me, I'm getting the most accuracy out of this gun with that. Some would think they're too heavy. It's 400 feet per second. It's probably coming in under that. And I would suggest that maybe that's why it looks good. Also, I'm busting through 2 pop cans of, filled with water, and 2 pop cans filled with water, and I'm busting through them. Could potentially even do more with these. So it's been fun. I'm enjoying my journey with the P-17, and I just want to make clear that this is now a full-on test case. I'm not a P-17 fanatic. It is honestly a little hard to operate. I would tell people that when you're closing it, keep your hands off the sights. The remarks I hear about the sights getting misadjusted or getting misaligned because you put your hand on it, I've gotten very good at stopping right there. So something to think about. So usually it'd be the opposite way of using this hand, like that, unless you're a southpaw. And I don't really tamper with the sights, and the accuracy has been good. So this gun has been fully disassembled and has now all Storehouse O-rings in it, and it's shooting awesome. So I thought people would be excited to know that you basically have this fix waiting for you at Harbor Freight $14. You can try to piece it out. I know some people say they can get it for a few dollars, but you could end up going on a goose chase chasing after individual O-rings. When for $14, you're good to go on this P-17, a friend's P-17, for a long time. You can use it for other things. This does work on your Daisy gun as far as fixing the pump tube O-rings. I just had one concern on one trigger O-ring for the 880. But either way is that this is a perfect fit. This $14 is well spent for this gun. You're completely outfitted. There's no chamber seal. It's 4 O-rings like they show in that picture. And they definitely work. The originals are right there. So I can just tell you this thing is shooting through multiple pop cans lined up. And that's good for a gun at this power level. So as far as the video that shows the complete disassembly, I'm going to have to handle that with care, and no rush for me on that.